Well, I suppose the dude would go, "Hello, it's me," but I'm not going to do that because that's too predictable. I'm going to find my. I don't.
Hi.
Hi there. A lot of people give me credit, far too much credit, as if I'm somehow computer savvy. I am not. The only tiny little bit I know about doing this video was courtesy of the dude himself. So when people ask me to do things and link this and copy this and paste that, and all this kind of stuff, honestly, it means absolutely nothing to me. I am completely clueless. Hi, Jane. I am completely clueless about doing anything computer-wise. So. I do understand that there are links to if you feel that you want to make a contribution towards Stephen and Brendan's canteen, that would be absolutely brilliant. And it's just a case of finding their GoFund pages, which I'm more than happy to put in the comments later on. But I must admit, today has been a bit of a mad rush for me. In fact, I'll be honest with you, okay? So we've got myself, obviously, Erakozy started off, he's like your first year student. Then we had Ali, second year, then I'm like the third year student. And then we've got the headmistress herself coming on, along with Walter, I believe, and a few other top attorneys. So, I mean, I got into huge trouble with the headmistress yesterday, and Tracy, I must apologise. You know, as I say, people give me far too much credit for knowing all about the sort of technical side of things, and I don't. So anyway, that's my sort of excuses over and done with. I caught most of the dude's live chat. I got the first 2 hours of Ali's. It's been absolutely brilliant so far. Thoroughly enjoyed it. It's great that everybody gets a chance to chat away, to have all these people come on and like a celebration. I know we're not celebrating anything yet, but I feel that celebrating will be done pretty soon. Sorry, hi Jane, I'm keeping you waiting. How you doing?
No, it's okay. This is
Oh, hold on a sec. I'm going to take my headphones out. If anybody feels that we're yes, headmistress. If anybody feels that we're you need to hand out some wrenches so we can post. I don't have wrenches. I do not have wrenches. I am like Stacy. I do this on the Google Hangouts. There is nowhere where it gives me wrenches to hang out. Pom pom. I'm sorry about that. I just can't do that. You know, a lot of things I can't do, which I probably could do, but there are certain things that I can't do because it's physically impossible to do. So now, hold on a sec. Yes, Jerome, could you send me your email again, and then I can get you hooked in. I know Mark's off by heart, and I know Chad's off by heart, and I know the dude's off by heart. So I will just get them posted in. Sorry, Jane. Sorry, I had the headphones in. What I was just going to point out was if anybody complains of echoing, they shouldn't do, because it should just be a case of if none of us have got any kind of volume going on the sort of I monitor it on my phone, because even on this Google Hangouts, I don't even get the chat on the side of the screen like the rest of them do. You know, I mean, you know, I'm just on the basic sort of. I know how to I know how to program it usually at the right time to go live, and I know how to contact and send the invite to certain people. After that, you know, you got to remember, I'm easily the oldest of the people out there doing YouTube videos. I must be easily the oldest. You know, the dude's at least 12 years younger than me. Sorry, I think Mark trumps me by a couple of years, but that's about it. The rest are all younger and have far more idea when it comes to this sort of thing. Now then, Jane.
Hi.
Where's the Brendan Dassey t-shirt? I suppose I can't really complain because I've got mine hung up there as well. You are one of the proud owners of a
Control question.
control question T-shirt.
Yeah, I am. Yeah, I've got my Avery merchandise.
Ah, right, yes.
I was feeling a bit cold.
Yes.
So I can't see the chat either, by the way, because I'm on my phone.
Yes.
I've done this once before on Ali's channel through Hangouts.
Yeah.
And I didn't need a headset or anything. So can you hear me all right? Can everybody?
I can. Yeah. I might pop the headphones on just so that I can hear the chat a bit better. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just going to do that now.
Yeah.
It's better. It's better for me to be able to hear. But by the way, did you notice that tune that I played at the start?
I heard a song playing.
Yes, it's called Werewolves of London. Yeah, and that's got a bit of history to do with the control question as well, because it was something that me and the dude were batting back and forward. I actually did a video where I explained that if you've got a control question T-shirt and two people get together in a pub or whatever, you must go to the jukebox, put on Werewolves of London, and then sing along to it. And you've got me actually singing Werewolves. Except I don't do the lyrics. I just do the howling. and I've got footage of the dude doing that as well. So it's a bit of fun.
Well, when I go to London to the rally. And
yes.
we go to the pub afterwards. I will do it.
Yeah, you're going to a rally in London.
Yeah, so
I know you're going to see the attorneys.
My ticket has just come this morning. So I'm very excited.
Yep.
So it's Buting, Strang, Night Rider, Drizzen, and then it's a few other people as well. So you know the Millie Dowler case, Levi Belfield,
right?
So it's Colin Sutton who was the lead investigator on that. He's speaking,
right?
Also, have you seen Mindhunter on Netflix? There's a
brilliant. Really enjoyed that. Enjoyed that.
Yeah. The person that wrote that, he's speaking there too.
Oh, right, yeah.
There's a New York Times bestseller. What's his name? He's speaking there as well. An author of a book. It's all true crime, so it's obviously all related. So the four, I'm sure there's one other person as well. Oh, my mind's gone blank. But yeah, so anyway, that's coming up in June the 8th. So really looking forward to that. Obviously, you've been to ones like this, so you'll know.
Yeah, I was going to mention that. I've actually done a list here on my whiteboard. Where's it gone? It's weird. It was here just a minute ago. It's over there. Yes, I've actually done a list of how many shows I've been to. The first one I went to was at the Usher Hall in Edinburgh, and that was to see Dean Strang and Jerry Buting. So I've only seen Dean Strang once. So I would probably need to see him a couple more times to really form a concrete firm opinion.
And how was that?
It was good. It was good. It was. I mean, I took my wife, and my wife wasn't really into the case at the time. So some of it was to do with American law, which you know, for a lot of people, it wasn't that. Sorry, for a lot of like normal people off the street, that wouldn't have been particularly interesting. But of course, what tends to happen at all these shows that they do, you tend to get the law students going along to see these heroes of theirs, you know. So as I say, I've seen Dean Strang once. I thought he was very good. I liked what he was saying. He seemed very entertaining. I've seen Jerry. I've seen him twice. Jerry, I like Jerry. I've
I
seen
love Jerry.
I've seen Steve Drizzen and Laura Nyrider 3 times. But it's weird. I've actually mentioned this to a few people, and they've agreed with me that the the other guy I've seen 3 times, who is just that, he's better still, is David Rudolph.
Yeah, I actually thought he was at this one.
Yeah.
And I was not disappointed, because I'm really looking forward to it. And as much as I can't wait to hear what Dean and Jerry have got to say. It's looking forward to seeing Laura Nyrider and Steve Drizzen, because obviously they're currently fighting for Brendan. So I am really excited.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, when we saw Steve Drizzen, Laura Nyrider and David Rudolph in Sydney, I've had a few comments. One that I particularly liked from Karen Gainey was when I was commenting on the Dude and Carol Ann Fitzgerald and Mark chatting together, and I made a comment about something, and she just said, Look, mate, give it a rest, will you? So I've got a little bee in my bonnet about the case in general. I think a lot of people are very, very annoyed at what's happened to Steve and Brendan, and it develops an angst inside them. And unfortunately, sometimes, the only way you can get that bit of angst out is in the wrong way. You tend to sort of lash out at people that maybe you shouldn't do. Eric Ozee did a video about just that thing, and Ali did the similar. Come on, be adults, and I just feel at times that the case is just so appalling, and everybody wants to do something about it. And it's not just in America, people in America, it's people all over the world have seen this and have said this, basically this aggression cannot abide. I love that line. It's from The Big Lebowski when he says, "Dude, this aggression cannot abide." It's George Bush, isn't it, that says that? George W. says it in the. Have you seen the Big Lebowski?
I haven't, no.
You don't know what you're missing. You don't know what you're missing. But anyway, we'll get back to that some other time. With that's why Eric Ozee is called the Dude. It's because of that film.
Oh, I see. Hi, Ali.
Hi, Ali.
Hi, Paul.
How did it go? I stayed with you up until just before 9 o'clock, and then I had to disappear. But I really enjoyed the chat that you had with Casey. Nice to see her back, and that she's going to be focusing on the on the case, and hopefully she'll make it to the rally. That would be brilliant. In fact, the more supporters, the better, because I missed it last year and I really regret it. And the Dude kept going on at me about, oh, you should have been here, you'd have enjoyed it, and all this kind of stuff. Well, of course, I managed to meet up with them in Oz, which was interesting. The Dude is, and I can't be too critical, because let me explain something. Here in the Borders, we're a very small community. We're a very small rural community. And there's this huge rivalry between the towns in the Borders. I'm in Galashiels, huge rivalry with Melrose, huge rivalry with Selkirk and Hawick. Hawick's only 18 miles away. Even when I first moved up to the Borders in 1983, it took me less than a year to realise that people in Hawick think that they are exceptional. They believe that they are at the center of the universe, that everything should revolve around them. And I'm sure that some of you have heard of the American exceptionalism, whereby, some people in America think, well, that applies to the rest of the world, but it doesn't apply to us, that we're in charge of everything. And when he starts moaning about sausages, you think, what on earth are you on about, dude? Just accept the fact that you're in a different country. You're not going to get, they're not going to take your change in US dollars because you're not in America. But it's like like he's deaf or something. You couldn't hear that at all, you know. But he never stopped moaning. Never stopped moaning about either the Dr. Pepper or the chorizo sausages, you know. But other than that, he loved him to bits. And it is true. I did a number of shots. What I did was I said, right, okay, everybody smile and take a picture, and then I would say Ken Kratz, and they'd all go, you know. Okay. One or two other signs besides. If you look on some of the photos, you'll wonder why some people are doing that and somebody doing even worse than that, you know. So I was forever making them stop. Right, photo, Ken Kratz. Ken Kratz. Zelda.
Paula, I'm so sorry. I don't mean to interrupt you, but can you possibly make some mods so that we can get links posted for you and block your troll?
I do not have.
You have a troll.
Any wrenches. If you do to show me where they are, I would be quite happy to do that. But I don't have on mine.
Just look in the chat. There'll be three.
I don't have a chat coming up either.
Oh, it'll be on YouTube.
Yeah, but I've looked for it. I cannot find it. If it's clearly not there. I've got a control panel up at the top there, and I've got a control panel at the side.
Okay, you're looking at the wrong window. You're looking at Hangouts. So let me show you really quick. I'll share my screen with you real fast. Are you able to see us?
You can
see me?
Yeah.
Okay. See right here, Paul, over on the right-hand side on YouTube, on your live video on YouTube right now. Over here in the chat is where you can see the three little dots like that. There will be a button for you that says make moderator or something like that.
So you want me to actually exit this screen then?
No, you stay in here, but you'll need to go to your...
Where's your chat, Paul?
As I say, I've never had any chat. It says group chat at the side there, but that's the group chat of the Hangouts. I understand that part of it, but I don't know about the as you say, the three little dots.
Okay, I'm going to link this to you on Facebook.
I am as you say, I'm in Google Hangouts, and this is as far as my technology skills go. As far as
I understand. Well, okay, so I just linked your live on Facebook. So if you can just go and open that, we got to get you some mods so we can get rid of your troll and get those links posted for you, because people are asking for links and we can't link anything for you.
Links? I've got links. You mean the body spray? No? And I do apologise. I was a bit generous with the aftershave, so I apologise if I would have done it a bit. So.
I can smell you from here, Paul. Yeah. Great. Thank you.
Sorry, run that by me again, Ali. What am I to do?
If you can open up Facebook and go to, I messaged you on Facebook with the link for your YouTube video that you're on right now.
So do you want me to close this video that I'm on just now?
No, just open up another another window to go to Facebook.
Oh, hold on a sec. No,
you got the complicated part.
I've just got this one screen. I don't have anything that I can actually.
Okay, can you minimize?
I can minimize, yeah.
And then open up another tab so you can open Facebook. I'm sorry, you guys. I hate to take up your time doing this, but
yeah, everybody needs the links.
Yeah.
So I've still got that page. Have I? Have I still got that page that I'm on? So what's happened there? Because I've now lost my picture because I've minimized.
Minimize.
We can still see you.
Can you?
Yeah.
Oh, right. Okay. Yep. That's interesting. So now, am I on Google? No.
No, just open up like Chrome or whatever you use, whatever browser you use,
Yeah,
and go to
Google.
Facebook.
Facebook.
Yep, go to Facebook, and I sent you a message there. And if you just click that link I sent you, it should open up your video. We'll get this sorted.
The problem is that I don't actually use my. I only ever use my laptop to do the Google Hangout. I always use my phone for my for all my other stuff.
Would he be able to do it on his phone?
Yeah.
You can't do live from your phone, can you?
No. You just need, all you need to do is just go to Facebook. If you want to use your phone, you can do that. Or if you want to just open up another tab here on your laptop. Either way, all you have to do is go to Facebook for right now and click the link to the video that I sent you, so that we can get you to your video.
That's what I was just thinking. If he could do it on his phone, if he's got the chat up on his phone, would he be able to?
Yeah, you can. As long as you're logged into your YouTube account.
So are you logged into your YouTube account on your phone, Paul?
Hold on a sec. Let me do this first.
Okay. Oh, Ali, the shirt looks great.
Oh, I love it. Did you see the back?
I pardon?
Did you see the back of it?
Yes, I saw the back before. Yeah, I went to order one myself, but I was saying on the chat before, it's an extra $30 to have it shipped.
Yeah, I know. I got so lucky that I didn't even have to pay extra to get it here in time. And I was just like, because they said it'll be there by March 1st. And I was like, well, crap, that'll be too late. But oh well, but it got here in like 4 days. So
that's really
I just
cool.
got it. Yeah, just got it yesterday. So I was like, oh, perfect timing.
Perfect.
Love it.
Yeah, I'm just waiting for my rally shirt now. But there's the thing about the sizes now, isn't there?
Yes. Yeah, unfortunately. People should know that.
I think I've ordered one, like, I'm assuming it's kind of the style that you've got on, the women's.
Yeah, the women's for some reason seems to be running very small. But the unisex shirts seem to be perfectly fine.
Yeah.
Like they seem true to size.
Yeah, Oh, I hope it fits.
Now then, Ali, I've got my Facebook page up, and did you send me a link? Did you?
I did. Yes, I sent you a link to your video.
So I click on that.
Yes, sir. And then you'll be able to see your chat, your live chat right now, over on the right side. Should be.
Ah.
You see that? Okay, I just typed a message in there. Hello at the it should be at the bottom. And if you hover over.
Yes, I got it. Yeah.
Just
and
hover.
Do you do something about top chat and change it to something else chat?
Yeah.
Live chat.
Live.
You put it to live chat, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I've got you, hello, yes, and then Martha, then Kimberly, then Dark Side of the Moon. He sounds like a Pink Floyd fan. Okay.
So if you
can I click on the play of this video now?
No. We just need you in the chat for right now. So if you can make Finn, Pom Pom, me, Denise, mods, that would be great.
Manage moderators, yeah?
Yes. Yep. Just click make moderator or whatever.
Okay. Community. Oh, that comes under community settings.
You could there's like if you hover over my comment, there's 3 dots over on the right hand side. If you click that, you can make a moderator just by clicking on those 3 dots.
Oh, hold on a sec then. Where are we? Hold on a sec. I've got all these tabs up and I'm losing. So if I go over you, hover over you for your. Ah, yes, I see that. I see the 3 dots. Yeah,
Awesome.
and then it says go to channel or report.
Does it say make moderator?
No, it just says go to channel or report.
Okay. Are you logged into your YouTube account?
Yeah, that should be.
Yeah. If you don't have that option, you might not be logged into your YouTube account.
Oh, hold on a sec. Add moderator. Now it's worked.
There you go.
So I
Yeah.
click on add moderator, do I?
Yes, sir. Whoever you'd like to do. There's Denise, Pom Pom.
Did you say Pom Pom? I suppose I better find her somewhere, hadn't I? Where's she gone?
Yeah.
I get all these messages come up just to confuse me, you know. So hold on a sec. Hold on a sec. Let's come back down then. So we're looking for. Gee, oh, there's Pom Pom.
Yeah.
She'll be happy. She'll be happy with this, won't she? Eh?
Okay, good. Pom Pom, Denise, Karen's here, Fen, me. Thank you, Allie. Anybody else? Am I missing anybody? Rule is here. Thank you all for being patient while we sort this out. I'm sorry. It's really good to see you, though. I'm glad I get to say hi to you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I hope your shirt fits, though.
I know. Yeah.
I don't know. I
know.
got mine and it was too small. I'm like, oh no.
I know. Oh, is yours too small?
Yeah, I got the women's 2X, but it's like about the size I would say of a medium.
Right. So I've ordered medium.
Oh, it'll probably be tiny then.
Oh.
Yeah.
You see, my control questions t-shirt, that's a medium. That's fine. This is a medium.
Mm-hmm.
That's fine.
Yeah, all the unisex ones are fine. Like this one is a unisex and it's perfect.
Yeah.
It's perfect size. It fits just like it should. But those women's for some reason are just tiny.
I definitely ordered the women's. I think it was called women's boyfriend t-shirt, I think.
Yeah, I think that's the one I got too. I'm like, you guys do not have a realistic size chart here for women. Sorry. So
sorry to interrupt. So now I can go back to my original live events, can
I? Let's see. Let me make sure. I'm not a mod yet. So far, all I see is Fen. We got to get you some mods.
There you go. Says you are.
Says I am. There we go. I see one. Okay, you can do Rule. There's Tracy, basically lawyers here. Denise, of course. Pom Pom's all right, good. Karen also. We'll get you hooked up, and then I will get out of your hair. I'm so sorry to come and interrupt your live.
No, you're not.
I really am. I didn't want to come. Mark's here if you want to make Mark a mod. I don't know what you guys want to do with that. The hot is in the house.
Hey.
Okay. We'll get
okay.
Okay, you got it now. I'm gonna get out of your way. You guys have fun. Have a great show. I love you guys.
Love you too, Ellie.
Okay. Bye guys.
Bye.
Have fun.
Yep. Will do. Hello there.
Yep. You sorted?
Now I'm confused because I'm now out of sync. I've got a different timing.
Is the chat still there?
No.
Ali, come back.
No. There we go. Is that right? Yes.
I can still see you. I can still hear you. I can still see you. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Do you have it now, or did you need some more
You're
help?
already in another call. Take me there.
So now, if you're done making your mods,
It's a nuisance. I can't see the chat.
I'm sorry, you guys. If you're done making all your mods, you can totally close your YouTube channel now if you want to.
Hello.
I think he's hearing the echo.
Yeah.
Paul, hopefully
Yes.
this is, if you can mute your YouTube window or just close it, either way.
Yes, I've closed it, but I can't get the chat because, as I say, on this page, it doesn't come up with the chat. I can get the chat on my.
On your phone, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we got you. You got a few mods, and if as long as you can hear everything and you guys are fine, I'll get back out of your hair.
No. I find that quite funny because you mentioned about a troll.
Yeah, you had a troll. She was sitting on you at first.
I love trolls. I love trolls. Do you know what? I had one 2 years back. I'm sure you came across him, Ali. It's that Scott Yuck.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And I did a video specially to him. And all I'm going to say is at the end, I did what the Gaelic is called pot mahon. And I turned around and said, "Here you go, kiss my ass." and you know what? Since I paid him that lovely compliment, I haven't seen him for ages because every time he came on, I just deleted everything and just said, "Look, don't even." You know, he would write me a whole essay, and I would just delete it without even reading it. So it was like brilliant. It was like, yeah. Pot mahon is the Gaelic.
Yeah.
Kiss my ass.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, this one was trying to pick you up and hit on you and stuff, and then just started being rude, and we couldn't block them or anything. So it's like, oh, just stop, please stop.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let me see if I can get the Hod. Let me see if I can find him because he's always good for a laugh. One sec.
Had a troll, and Allie just appears like the fairy godmother of IT.
Yay.
I got you. If you need any more help, I'll be here.
Are you going to be in the chat?
Yeah, I'll be modding.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get out of your video now. Let you guys get back to it.
Oh no, don't go.
No? Okay. Oh, I don't. You guys.
Look, Ali, just whatever you need to do. I thought it was funny yesterday. I was the naughty boy, wasn't I? I was the one that had to go to the headmistress's office and apologize because it was so confusing about the times and everything. And I do apologize. I explained to the dude when he said, "Oh, let's do this. This sounds like a good idea." I said, "Yeah, that's fine. Bear in mind, on a Saturday," I said, "I'm going to be really busy. On the Sunday, I'm going to be available to do much longer, you know." But of course, that fell on deaf ears, didn't it? He didn't understand that at all.
Yeah. And it's so funny because I totally understood it. And I was half asleep when you messaged me. and I was reading your messages and I was like, oh, yeah, okay, sure. I can do that. I got you. Whatever you need.
Good.
So, and
Good.
we sorted it out very simple and easy. It was no problem.
Exactly. These little. What was it that Stacy? Did you manage to get hold of Stacy?
Yeah, well, I'm gonna have to chat with him in a bit because whenever he gets up again, because things didn't go the way that they were supposed to go, so he didn't come on.
Oh, he didn't come on. That's fine.
No,
I know sometimes he's got issues over there in somewhere near the Arctic Circle. You know, things don't work quite the same as they do in other parts of the world. You know.
Yeah.
Why he needs to live that far north, but he does anyway. So yes, he was. I forgot what I was going to say now. There was something I was going to say about him. No, it must have been that important. No, we were talking about the you know, me going into possible getting lines or essays, detentions, or worse off the headmistress, you know, for my antics in not realizing what was going on, you know. But no, we got sorted out, you know. That was it. He's got a saying about you know, people finding solutions to problems that weren't even there in the first place, you know. And I don't think there was a problem. So hopefully everything's sorted out. It was just to do with timings, and well, we're all here now, so that's the main thing. And hopefully we're going to get the HOD join in. I did send him the link, so I wonder where he is. He should be up by now. Well, he was in the chat, wasn't he? So he should be. Ah, there we go. There we go. Hi, Mark. Oh no, hi, Mark.
No, something just flashed up. I think it was someone saying hi, Mark.
Yes.
How come
Yes.
I got that?
So
I just wondered why that just flashed up across the screen. Then I don't know.
I don't know either. It's, as I say, all this is confusing to me. So.
And it says, and which it didn't say when I was on with you, Ali, but on mine it's saying off air on my phone.
Oh. I don't know. I don't see. I don't see it. It looks great here.
Yeah.
What I can see.
And when I came on your channel and I was speaking, when you speak, you come up the bigger. Oh, here's Mark.
Hey, Mark.
Hey, Mark.
Hello.
Sideways.
You
He
sideways.
often is. We can't seem to sort him out.
How do I get this to change?
There you go.
All right.
What you do is put
way.
your phone normal and just lie on the side of the bed.
Yeah.
And then you'll be. Well, I mean, you're used to being upside down, so sort of horizontal will be a good compromise.
Yeah, I don't know why it won't go back the other way. But
Listen. Your trials and tribulations are nothing compared with the ones I've just had that Alice had to sort out for me.
Look.
I caught the little end of it. Oh, hello.
I got my shirt today, Paul or Mark. Thank you so much. Thank you.
You're
and it's
very
perfect.
welcome.
Perfect.
Oh, great. That's great. Yeah. You're
So
very
let's
welcome,
see.
Ali.
We need to work out some technical issues. Oh, there you go. You got it.
There we go.
I've got my phone now vertical, so that's why you're getting it the right way around. So I'm not sure why it's not doing the switch.
Well, it's
Right,
unless it's
natural
on
thing.
that lock thing, you know. Oh, I know why it is. You're in Wisconsin.
Right.
They have anti-gravity problems over there. Sometimes gravity doesn't work the way it's supposed to, particularly around about the sort of Manitowoc area.
There we go.
You know, and I think partly it's because of the presence of a certain number of aliens that have been reported by some Calumet officers.
Spoken like a person with the safety of the Atlantic Ocean between them.
If I can,
So how,
yeah, but well, if and when I get to this rally, I'm thinking of driving up and popping in at Cleveland Auto Salvage, having a word.
oh, right. Well,
Bobby.
it's on the way, you know.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. Pop in and say hi, because I missed his retirement party. I missed that. You know,
You got to be in the club, Paul.
I'm sure the invite was in the post. I can't understand why I didn't get the the invite to that one. I'm sure it was a hell-raising party. You know.
Oh, God.
Paul, I'm gonna get off your live now. I'm gonna let you.
No worries. Yeah. You've been going like a Trojan. Thanks very much. And I believe you're also helping me out tomorrow by starting an hour earlier.
Yes, sir.
I
got you.
I mean, of all the people that are doing the extra, of course, you are the sort of well, if Eric Hose is the black belt of YouTubing, you are certainly the black belt of going for like record amounts of hours, aren't you?
Yes.
Ali is a true.
What's your record? 8 hours?
15 and a half.
15 and a half.
What?
Yeah.
That's going to be illegal. So,
Yeah, it is. I had to start several videos because it only lets you go 8 hours at a time on Hangouts. So I had to almost start a third video, and I was like, nah, I'm just gonna stop. So I was just out there. I was like, nah, I'm good. Yeah, okay, but you guys have fun. I'll be in the chat watching.
Thanks, Ali.
Bye, guys.
I want to see that. I want to see that shirt being worn, Ellie.
You got it. Absolutely. Absolutely. First video, as soon as MaM-a-thon's over, I'm going to be wearing that. You can bet on it. Okay. Bye, guys. Have fun.
Bye, Ali.
Bye.
Mark, are you sure you've not got the screen lock on?
No, I'm all good now.
You're not your sideways again?
Oh, am I? For you? Right. So,
Oh, you're okay now?
Yeah.
Is that because
that's
you put the phone vertical?
yeah, that's right.
Ah.
I'll leave it like this. It's fine. We don't need to be boring the listeners by me fiddling with the phone. So,
well, each to their own. But sorry, Mark. Meet Jane. Jane, meet Mark.
Hi, Mark.
hello, Jane. I recognise that accent.
Yes.
Do you?
Yeah.
Go on,
Nice to meet you.
Have a stab. It's.
You've got to say
At the accent.
say a few more words, Jane. Oh, you're not going to ask me to be regional about it, are you? I just know it's over on the other side of the planet.
I'm just saying, can you tell what part of the UK Jane is from by the accent? I'll give you a clue. Coronation Street.
Yeah. Coronation Street.
Yeah.
Well, that'd have to be England, wouldn't it?
Yes, yeah, but which part? I'll give you another big clue.
Oh, now you're going to go. You want the street as well?
Yeah, Sean Atwood.
Maybe the house number?
Sean Atwood. They're not very far away either. Originally, Sean Atwood.
The more clues you give, the more confused I am. Let's just say I got the right country.
Just south of Lancashire.
Let's say Lancashire.
Cheshire.
Cheshire, yeah.
All right, the cat, you mean?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, Jane, Mark is Australian, but don't worry, he's not from Queensland.
He's,
Uh,
my auntie surprised us. She lives in Australia, and she lives in Queensland, Brisbane.
Oh.
All right.
Yep.
Yeah, I have been a couple of times. Not for a long time, but yeah, I love Australia.
Yeah.
Very close to my heart.
Oh,
Jane,
nice.
have you
lots of koalas dotted about my house and Australia?
Right.
Yeah.
Jane, have you come across the guy that designed the state flag?
Who's that?
The guy in the photograph just there.
I can't.
Charlie Berens.
Oh, I've seen. I didn't know who he was, but I've seen videos and seen you talk about him.
Yeah. Well, he actually said that he might even be in Wisconsin the day after the rally in June. So he might make an appearance. How cool would that be?
I wish I could come to the Man-a-thon one.
Yes, I am looking forward to it because I missed it last year. I'm not looking forward to. I mean, the dude will just moan about something else. If he's not moaning about Dr. Pepper. It'll be something else. I mean, what was he like the last time you were there, Mark? Did he manage to find any Dr. Pepper?
Yes, he did.
Did he?
He,
All right. All right.
So he's sort of in, he's in his own country, so to speak. So he's got the radar finely tuned to where all the Dr. Peppers are.
Yeah, but the problem is he's not very happy with Chicago, because in Chicago they have up above Chicago they have what's known as weather.
That's right. Seriously, that expression drives me insane.
Yeah.
When I hear that. Yeah.
Oh,
And he doesn't
dear.
like airports either, so he doesn't like
no.
delays at airports.
No.
Yeah.
He is without doubt the worst tourist I've ever come across, and I've come across some bad ones.
What was it with the seatbelt?
Oh, that was. I mean, Mark had to get his seatbelt warning device renewed because it wore out. It wore out because every time we'd get in the car, we'd go about 50 yards, and all you'd hear was the bing, 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 and we'd all shout "seatbelt." And he just doesn't wear a seatbelt. He just doesn't wear it.
Oh, do they not? Is it?
No, I mean he's supposed to wear a seatbelt, but he's exceptional. So he doesn't have to. He doesn't have to abide by any rules as such.
Right.
And just very quickly, the Mark, you introduced us to the one of the Australian equivalents, I would say, of Charlie Berens, and that was.
Oh, Carl Barron.
Yeah, Carl Barron. If for people out there, if you're into Charlie Berens, go and check out Carl Barron. I actually sent Charlie Berens the link to Carl Barron, and his exact words were, "I love Carl Barron." I wouldn't be at all surprised if because Charlie's an up and coming, just recently started doing the comedy. I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't take other, some of these guys that have been on the scene for a long time. I know that he was very impressed with, for example, Jane. You'll know Jasper Carrot. You'll remember Jasper Carrot.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, brilliant, absolutely brilliant. I sent him
too.
I remember sending him stuff, and he thought that was absolutely brilliant. I want to get onto the discussion about what we're supposed to be here to discuss.
Yeah.
And I wanted to first of all put forward. Mark, you're familiar with the other Moorcock character that trolls around the internet. Eric Ozey seems to think that it's absolutely brilliant that there's this person that's decided to name themselves after another character from the Moorcock novels. He seems to think it's some sort of almost like it's something to be proud of, but. I got an email from Dorian Hawkmoon saying, look, basically, Brendan confessed. End of story. Even if he was fed the facts, he didn't have to regurgitate the facts, did he? He could have just said, no, that isn't what happened. He went along with the facts. So I just really wanted to. We've seen that true story of a false confession, that the 2-hour Drizzt Knight Rider presentation. But I just wanted to ask your opinions of how did they actually on the day, did they get Brendan to confess? And I'd just like to start off by asking another question connected with that, which was, when they got him to confess, did they, in their own sort of twisted way, get more than they were actually bargaining for? Were they initially trying to get Brendan to just say stuff about Steve, but he actually ended up incriminating himself? So they were basically given 2 for the price of 1.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
We don't really know what happened at Fox Hills, do we?
No.
So, I mean. But he was young. He had no one there with him, and I've said this before. You're brought up to respect authority. You're brought up to respect the law, and I just think what happened to Brendan is an absolute travesty. I just,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I must admit, I got very upset when I saw it was on the Law News Network. They actually played. It was Aaron Keller who. I don't know. As a journalist, he seems to be one that must have splinters in his arse. He seems to be on both sides at the same time. You know, I mean, the ladies seem to think he's this wonderful silver fox. I just find him somebody that likes the sound of his own voice. But anyway, that's by the by. He was doing a video on the Law News Network, and he actually played that ending. You know, the bit that the court never got to hear.
Yeah.
And
Yes, yep. That got to my head.
So
I will never understand why his defence team agreed to that. Why?
Do you know? Yeah. Do you know what I'm thinking? Did the defence team even know about that being at the end? Do you think that Fremgen actually had 4 hours spare to listen to the whole tape? He's only a public defender. Do you think he actually sat down and watched the whole tape?
It's possible.
And you know, maybe Kratz and the rest of them said, "Oh, here's the tape. It's the first bit until the investigators leave him is to that point." Maybe they didn't even know about this bit at the end, because it just seems very odd that you wouldn't then play the most important
the
part
most crucial
of.
point. Yeah.
Yes, my thoughts about that are similar. There are two things that went wrong in that respect. Both are equally culpable. One, as you say, Paul, that he didn't listen independently to the totality of the recording, which is hugely negligent. And secondly, he did, and he colluded with the prosecution not to bother with that last bit, which is equally culpable. But then the third level is that the prosecution, if you go back to the obligations in regard to disclosure, the prosecution should have said, are you aware of this piece that's, some minutes down the end of the tape? You should be aware of it. It's your duty to be aware. Now everyone's laughing out there now because they think, I believe that the prosecution should be honest, right? The very fact the prosecution knew that part was not there, and they were happy to allow the court not to see it or hear it in this instance, then there is equally culpable of the negligence, as is Mark Fremgen on behalf of Brendan. So, but I'd like just to go back to your question, your initial question about why did Brendan confess, so to speak. There are a couple of things about that. Firstly, he didn't confess. He regurgitated things that were put in his head. So that's not a confession. That's why it's referred to as involuntary. It's not a confession of facts made from his own memory. And the other thing is, because Brendan's a young man, he's of lower IQ, but a very, kind and respectful young man, and he would regard law enforcement as being honest and doing the right thing. So he was predisposed to being suggested to, because he wouldn't have in his wildest dreams thought that they were trying to set him up.
No.
That would have never even entered his mind. So that was another element. And just keep in mind, of all the exonerations of youth, 80% of those people who were exonerated gave false confessions. The facts are there to support that people wrongly confess, and it's 80% or 4 out of 5 of people with special needs or low IQ. They do give false confessions. So he's really in the target zone to manipulate, and added to that the feeding of facts, they got exactly what they wanted. But moreover, if you like, how the system, and in Brendan's case, Judge Fox in particular, how they allowed that confession to be brought into the evidence in the absence of any corroborating evidence, it just beggars belief. I just don't see how that ever happens. So you can't have all those missteps without collusion. You can't have all those things go wrong in terms of proper conduct without collusion.
Yeah.
So in a lot of words I know, but that's how I see it. I don't see it as a confession. I just see it as a manipulation of a young man's goodwill
Yeah.
and to serve a purpose that's not in his best interests.
Yeah. My argument would simply be the fact that, no, Brendan did not state a lot of things. Wigan and Fassbender stated them, and he simply agreed with them, or at least what he did, he didn't argue. He wouldn't even argue with them to say, no, that wasn't what had happened. A lot of the time you get, there's one part where, you remember, Mark, me, the dude, and you went through, we split the video into 3 segments and looked at our own individual bits. And I got the bit where he, Tom Fassbender says, you must have seen something, and Brendan says, a toe. And then like within a couple of minutes later, Fassbender says, then, okay, so let's go through what you've seen. You said you saw a toe, you've saw this, you've seen this, you've seen that, you've seen that. It's like, well, hold on a sec. He's just guessing at a toe. You were the one that's now elaborated it and extended it, given it arms and legs, literally, and then said you've seen this, that, and the other. But of course, Brendan never argued with that, did he? Because he thought, well,
He was probably scared as well.
To him, Brendan's mind, that was an anatomy lesson at that point.
Yeah,
he's just reading off body parts.
Yeah, to him, what was more important at the time? Telling the police a cock and bull story about Stephen shooting her, etc., or was he more worried about, I better get that project in for my 6th lesson? Because what's the first thing he asks? Is it all done now? Because I need to get you can tell he's just want to go along with anything and everything they say. And the control question is the perfect example of that. And that would be something that niggled me. That Steve Drizzen and Lauren Ida, they never mention it themselves. What is it? Is it because Eric Cozy has cornered that part of the market, do you think?
Oh, God. I don't know. But
I think he has.
I think everyone with any sense of intelligence understands that the control question proves exactly the opposite of what the majority bank said it did. And I'm not even sure that it is the majority. The majority of the on-bank. It's just Judge Hamilton, and he was leading that group, and he was just having his foot soldiers follow in behind on that issue. And the fact that he got it so wrong, technically so wrong, shows you how, to use Eric Jose's expression, how disingenuous he was about the pursuit of truth.
Yep. Now, Jane, did you know that Mark is not in Australia at the moment?
I did not.
Mark, would you like to care to mention where you are? You're upstairs, aren't you? In my living room.
Yeah, I'm just about to come in on the left there. So.
Yes.
I'm having a cuppa.
There were 1 or 2 people that absolutely, they're still going on about it. Donald Ethan was saying he thought I was absolutely brilliant when you suddenly appeared, and the look on Stacey's face when you did. But no, you're back visiting a certain convicted rapist, killer, the most deranged person the world has ever seen, the most evil person ever to enter Judge Willis's courtroom. What on earth are you doing visiting this madman?
Because he's innocent. That's why.
Could you spare me 2 minutes?
Yes,
I'm just nipped to the little room. It's just over there. Just 2 seconds. And you can tell everybody about your trip to Wisconsin. I'll just catch you very shortly.
Okay. Yeah. So I'm currently in Manitowoc. That's where I am at the moment, and I've been here since last Sunday night, and I've been visiting Stephen down at War Pond. I've seen him. He's great. He's really great. Very positive, and just, I mean, it's easy to forget how, he's been in prison 31 years, going on 32 years, which is pretty much nearly all, bar about 3 or 4 years, nearly all of his adult life he's been in prison. Now, if you stop to think about what that would mean in terms of your head or doing your head in, you'd totally forgive him if he was a crazy. But he's not. He's very rational. He's very positive, and he's constantly attuned with what's going on with his case and with what supporters are up to. So yeah, it's been great fun. Well, fun's probably the wrong word to use in his circumstances, but a joy to be able to spend time with him.
Yeah.
And I will be seeing him again later today, after I actually leave this chat. I'm going to pick up his mum and take her down to Warpon to visit him as well, along with Sandra Greenman. So she hasn't, not Sandra, his mum hasn't seen him for a little bit. Yep. So yeah, that's where I am. And I have some photos here, folks. I was going to show you, because
excellent.
When you're at the institution, by the way, they take photos. Let me see if I can find some here.
Can I just say something though? Yeah, I'll. Sorry, you speak and you'll get the main screen to yourself.
Okay, so there's a photo earlier in the week with Stephen.
Oh.
You notice he's not quite that tall, by the way. I've just helped him out by
down?
a little. Yeah, I'll show you how much. Just hang on, I'll show you the next one. So that one. So,
oh wow!
Yeah. Is that you in the garden, gnome?
Yeah. Yeah. So there he is.
Yes. Yeah, beauty. I know perfectly well that you are being disingenuous. You are quite an astute business person, Mark. I know perfectly well that this trip to Wisconsin to visit Steve is purely a cover for the fact that you're going to set up your own cleaning firm. And what you're trying to do, you're trying to find out what Stephen Avery knows about Rug Doctor that the rest of the world does not know. He is going to give you his number one tips on the full power of Rug Doctor and the amazing results that you can get from it.
Oh, God. How long have you been on, Mr. Capaldi?
Been on what?
You've been on a couple of hours now.
No,
exactly.
just an hour. It seems to have flown past. It seems like 5 minutes ago. You know. So no.
Congratulations on MaM-a-thon, by the way, on your MaM-a-thon, your own little MaM-a-thon.
Oh,
so
yeah.
Well done.
How do you mean so?
Well, your teetotal for the last month.
Oh, yes. So I've lost about a stone now, which as I say, I needed to do because it's going to be, even if it's not hot.
For our American friends, that's not a kidney stone. That's 14 pounds. So
yes, yeah. We use stones and pounds in weight. I mean that's. I mean I'm so many kilograms, but I couldn't tell you how many 100 or whatever.
That's 6, I think. So
600 kilograms. Yeah, probably something like that. Yeah.
Right.
Okay. So you're there to visit Steve for quite long sessions at a time. What sort of things have you been able to sort of discuss with him, and what have you been able to find? What have you made of the? You know, we know all about how he was framed, but what about the character of the guy? What sort of character is he?
Gee, I tell you what, he's someone that you just can't believe is in prison.
Yeah,
because. He's such a nice man, and he, like all of us, we're not perfect, but he's such a very friendly and a joy to be around. He's always laughing. He's always got a little cheeky smile going on. We talk about many things that you can appreciate. Obviously, his case and views about specific matters, some of which I obviously couldn't discuss. We talk about his family, what he wants to do when he's released. We play cards a lot, which is always great fun because he's a real joker, literally a joker. So it's very entertaining to be with him. And the prison itself is, you'll all be familiar with what Warpon looks like on the outside. It's an old older style prison. It's been in existence for about 170 years or something like that. So its architecture is mid-1800s. But inside, it's, well, at least the area that visitors are allowed to go to is very nice and bright and clean and tidy, and the staff, the prison staff, are very friendly and courteous. And yeah, it's given the circumstances of incarceration, which are obviously awful for many, you do really feel comfortable there. And yeah, it's just it's nice to be there. It's a fair hike for his parents to get down to where he is.
How long does it take, Mark, from?
Well, from Manitowoc, it's about an hour and a half, but Mr. and Mrs. Avery live in Mishicot, which is a bit further north again. So it's basically 2 hours drive each way. And they're in their early 80s. And that comes with its own problems or own challenges. So of travel, but so it's quite a hike to go down there and obviously come home. So, but yeah, Steve's always positive. I've never been there, and I feel when I come out of there, I sort of feel another foot taller, just for the experience. Not because he's short, but because the experience of being with Stephen is just very uplifting, and his ability to cope in very difficult circumstances is truly inspirational from a humanity perspective, and just incredible. And by the way, Paul, sorry to just interrupt. I sent you just before I came online this morning, my time. I sent you a video that you're welcome to use at any stage in your broadcasts, either even when you're not online. It's a video. I did a video during the week I called it a trip to War Pond, where I took a whole bunch of video leaving here in Manitowoc and finding my way all the way down to War Pond, the journey there, and also a bit of a little look around Manitowoc for things that might be familiar to people, and just my thoughts when I arrived at War Pond. Obviously, I can't take the camera inside, and then after I'd been there, so it runs for about 12 minutes. So if you're looking to, I'm sure everyone who's watching this would get a lot out of seeing the video. I'm no professional cinematographer, as you'll come to realise, but it's a fascinating look on what's involved in getting there, what the physical surround is like on the way, and in War Pond, it's a little country town. And so I would encourage you either at some time to run that in either within these sessions or just in addition to that as part of a normal release. So anyway, I sent you a link to it. It's a YouTube video, and you're more than welcome to play it. It's really interesting. And I hope to get a little bit of video today, if it's possible, from Dolores as well. So that you could use online. So
I would just take people back to their school days and ask, I remember lads at school all through primary, secondary school. Occasionally I was the one that would get in trouble. We're not trying to make, as Kathleen Zona pointed out, she's not trying to get Stephen Avery sort of made it canonized as a saint. She's just trying to get him out of a wrongful conviction. We're not trying to say that Stephen Avery is this wonderful person, but in a way that there are people there who occasionally they slip up, they do something wrong, but they're the ones that get caught straight away. I remember as a youngster, I got into one or two bits of trouble, that my mum and dad weren't happy about, and it would involve sometimes my cousins as well. We do silly stuff that youngsters did, and occasionally we would get caught for it. And then you hear about some of the things that our older cousins had done, never ever got caught, and you just feel that with Steve, it's just a case of
everything's magnetized because
pushing his cousin Sandy Morris off the road. No, not a good idea. You can never condone that. And the 6 years that he got for that was Probably quite rightfully done. Yes, okay, the sheriff reacted to it. We hear, is it Rhys Evans talking about the fact that, Tom Kasurek, he really went after that case more so than the Sandy Morris incident. He really took an interest in that. And so, maybe they did, but nobody's condoning that behavior. But, as soon as he realized that Sandy Morris had got this little kid, just let it go. That was end of it, because I can't understand how people are saying he's this evil person. The politician
plain rubbish.
The politician in MaM-a-thon that said I could tell he was guilty by the look in his eye.
Oh.
And you're thinking, for goodness sake,
Spare me, please.
Right, I've got another.
I mean, it's a terrible thing that in society we're so quick to judge people by how they look, how they appear, and so on. If there's one thing, and there are many things in this, is for us all to be very mindful about destroying someone's presumption of innocence and just being judgmental about someone, either because you don't like how they look or how they sound, or you just don't like the person. Not liking someone is not a recipe for guilt.
No.
And when we take someone that, or be it in this case or any other set of circumstances, and cast doubt upon their character just because you don't like them, it's a terrible thing to do. Absolutely terrible, especially when it involves matters that can result in people, going to prison.
Yeah.
So there's lessons for us all in this, and so, but the whole it seems to me at least, Manitowoc culture in the sheriff's department of being in charge of the town rather than the people being in charge, which is what it should be. That's what democracy should be about. It was just a toxic formula that meant anyone that they didn't like wasn't going to enjoy the true benefits of justice, and it's that culture, that toxic culture, that needs. I mean, I can't speak about what it's like in 2019. I'm sure there's plenty of residual elements to that still around, but it's that toxic culture that has to alter, and this concept of conviction over truth is just a terrible indictment on society.
Yeah, I've got another question for you. I totally agree with what you've just said. Slightly tongue in cheek as well. You know me by name, Mark.
I do.
You're in Wisconsin. I am completely at a loss. I am completely confused as to where are all these bones that either are Teresa's or they're not Teresa's, or they're animal or they're not animal, they're human. What on earth is going on over there? We've got America, the most in many ways the most advanced culture in the world. How have they ended up with this godforsaken mess whereby the holdbacks have been given back some of the bones that they only regard as what, partly human, possible human,
possibly human?
What on earth is going? I'm just as a lot. I mean, presumably those bones that were, for want of a better word, they appear on MAM as being in a pizza box. Presumably they're being kept. They are safe somewhere. They're in this bag that Mark Williams refers to.
Look, I don't really know what bones are where and which ones are not and which one are. But my take on this matter is this: contrary to the statute requirement requiring that any biological evidence not be destroyed unless it's by mutual agreement, and also an order by Judge Willis, because Buting and Strang specifically asked for the right to DNA test matter at a later date, and which he granted at the time of Stephen's trial. I think what's happened is that when Stephen's appeals back in 2009-10 finally got dismissed by the appeals court and didn't get heard by the Wisconsin Supreme Court, I think the people at the time thought, oh, well, he's done. You know, MAM as we know it today didn't even exist in anyone's mind. And they said, no, we can now just do our thing and give these bones back to Mr. and Mrs. Hallbach.
Mm-hmm.
They knew that they were human bones.
Mm-hmm.
They knew that they knew with high levels of certainty they were Teresa's, and Mr. and Mrs. Hallbach wouldn't have accepted them either unless they knew that. I mean, who's going to want anything other than the real thing? So that was just plainly illegal what they did, unfair to Stephen, unfair to Mr. and Mrs. Hallbach and their family to play with them like this. There's a real possibility, I don't know whether it would happen, that even if they do have those remains of Teresa's, one would expect they're buried. It'd be surprising you would think that they would be re-cremated, if you like. Teresa does have a grave in her hometown in this area. I've been there, and so I'm expecting, without knowing, of course, that those bones that were handed back to her are actually buried in that grave. Now, there's a possibility, I don't know whether it would happen, that they may need to be exhumed, potentially. I mean, talk about being unfair to the Hallbachs to put them in that situation where one that should need to be done again, and secondly, creating doubt in their mind, both implicit and secretly, that maybe they have bones that don't even belong to their daughter. It's just so indictable as to their disrespect for truth and justice and for the family of the Hallbachs, who they always, in every statement they've ever made around this matter in recent years, are always talking about, you know, we have the interest of the Hallbachs in mind. They have no interest of the Hallbachs in mind. They have the interest in maintaining this charade. And they try to justify their behaviour by hiding behind the skirts of the Hallbachs. It's just...
I was just going to say,
awful.
They pretend.
Yes, they do.
They do.
It's just disgraceful.
Yeah.
So, I don't know whether that answers your question.
Well, it's
Capaldi, but...
and also it struck me that the timing of them handing these other remains back to them, it was right at the end of Steve's appeal. It was just as they were going to get a final decision from the Supreme Court, who obviously they didn't even take Stephen's case on, did they? He never got a hearing before the Supreme Court. No. They clearly had been given a heads up to say he's not going to get heard. You can hand these back. But isn't it interesting that they handed those bones back, but but they've clearly not handed all of those bones, the other ones that were in that sort of pizza box. The state. I've heard the argument that the state, they're cremains. You know, they couldn't get DNA from them, so therefore it was okay to hand them back. No, these are biological. They are biological matter. They were part of the evidence in this case. They should have been kept. And this, I believe that they've never had a situation like this in Wisconsin, which doesn't surprise me because they've certainly pulled out all the stops when it comes to corruption on this case, isn't it? You know, they've never had a situation like this where you know, that at some point a court is going to have to adjudicate on this. Hopefully, it'll be that Mr. Paul Riley who seems to have taken a dim view of the state's antics. Did you like the tone of his reply?
Yeah.
Yes. Could I just add one little sort of footnote to the theme of what we're saying here? Is that all this is couched in an environment where law enforcement, not totally, but for the most part, enjoy the benefit of immunity for their actions or inactions or whatever. Now, the existence of that, and you see it in Mr. Kratz's behaviour especially, but in others, creates no sense of accountability along the way. They think they can, and they do anything they want because they have no fear of prosecution for unprofessional or illegal conduct. Of the subtle type. I'm sure if they did something very directly illegally, that'd be a different story. But their behaviour goes unchecked, and there needs to be there needs to be significant reform in this area of immunity to whether it's the prosecution team or law enforcement, where they knowingly conducted themselves in a manner that caused harm to others. And it's a recipe for change, and this is one of the ingredients, the law reform in respect to immunity, and giving back bones contrary to the statute, effectively lying, if you like, about other matters, and so on. These are things that shouldn't be allowed to go unchecked. If it was any other professional in their careers, you'd be hauled before your respective bodies and the courts and disbarred for life.
Someone needs to be accountable.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And these are the things we want to change because, even though Stephen Avery and Brendan Dassey's cases are front and centre for us, they're really the tip of the iceberg. And these sorts of problems are going on every day in the United States as well as other countries, but it's very focused there.
Yes, I mean, that brings me on to the point about the legal system there. Obviously, referring back to Mark, I don't think you were in the chat when I talked about the fact that Jane's going off to see Jerry and Dean and Jerry and Laura and Steve in a show presentation in London. I mean, I'm a bit of an old hack at this because I mean I've been and seen Strang once, Jerry twice, Steve and Laura twice, and David Rudolph 3 times, and it was the staircase that first alerted me to this Alford plea. Have you ever heard of any such nonsense as an Alford plea?
No, I hadn't. I mean, the staircase was the first time I was aware of that item, but maybe it does exist in Australia. I'm not familiar with it if it does. For
me to have such a thing as an Alford plea, it strikes me that the whole legal system over there is set up so that, as it's pointed out, to be accused is to lose. As soon as you get pointed at and said, they come in, they say, we've got all this evidence against you, blah, 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 blah. Forget about trying to defend yourself. You don't have a chance. I mean, this whole idea that Mike Peterson was basically saying, I thought Mike Peterson had a superb case when they had that evidentiary hearing, didn't they, into the evidence, and where Dwayne Deaver was completely scandalized because of his behavior, and you thought, oh, go on, Mike, take this shower of what's it to the cleaners, and you suddenly find that he's taken this Alford plea, which basically says, I accept the fact that the state have enough evidence against me that a court might have found me guilty.
I know. It's really it's relevant. It says a lot about the system. Just as in Wisconsin, they have this rule that says that if you don't admit your guilt, you don't get parole.
Yeah.
All that is an encouragement to take a plea.
Yep.
So you end up with all these people say, "Oh, I'll do 10 years rather than life, even though I'm innocent, because that's a better option for me."
Yep.
So you have all these people accepting legal responsibility for the alleged crimes when they didn't commit them, because the system, in fact, encourages them to do that. Because, as we know from the documentary, the issues of, guilty people who did admit their guilt and did commit the crime, getting out of prison in the normal way that happens. When innocent people are stuck there because they didn't admit their guilt, and who would? I'd really admire Stephen Avery for being, steadfast in his pursuit of his innocence. He at no stage would ever, I can tell you, he would never ever admit
for the
to
second time.
guilt.
Yeah, he's so bloody minded. There's no way he would, isn't he? No, there's no way he would.
Well, I mean, it's bloody minded based upon his innocence, not based on just being stubborn or anything.
Yeah.
So And, you know, that rule about not getting parole unless you admit your guilt is just a creation of more wrongfully convicted people. And, you know, that's in evidence by the level of incarceration in the US, which is, well, as we know, is hugely out of whack with the rest of the world. And, you know, a private prison system to a large extent that likes having customers, if I can put it that way.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's just, but I see it, I've always seen this issue about the level of incarceration in the US and so on, as you can trace this history, in my view, back to the cultural evolvement of the United States society and the role of the sheriff in town. You know, catching the bad guys and locking them up. It's just part of this thing. And they haven't, in my view, with due respect to the United States, they haven't evolved their system like other nations around the world to address wrongful acts in a more appropriate manner beyond locking them up. And my guess, without knowing, is there's probably at least a third of the prisoners in the United States prisons who should not be in prison. I'm not saying they're innocent, but they shouldn't be in there. There is a better way of dealing with punishment and reform than sticking them inside a cell. And you know, it's just as I say, a situation where the country in these sorts of areas has not really taken on an evolutionary approach to doing things better. And you add that to the other elements to the recipe, like I said, such things as the immunity issue, private prisons, and so on, and this culture of, you know, we're better than anyone else. That's, I'm talking about law enforcement, and you end up with Stephen Avery and Brendan Dassey cases. That's how it happens, and that needs to change. One thing I should say very quickly on this is that, not so much specifically about prison and justice reform, is that in the United States, as you probably would know from your own countries, you know, they're already starting the pre-campaigning for the 2020 elections, presidential election. So I think there's about 20 Democrat candidates already thrown their hats in the ring. Now, I'm not here to talk about the politics, except to say I'm very encouraged by what the level of debate that's going on about issues that are relevant to humanity and to Americans. They're talking about matters, these candidates, that matters I've never heard American politicians talk about, whether that's to do with the environment or a decent basic wage and equity amongst all citizens and so on. So I am a little encouraged by the fact that they seem to be taking the agenda to a much higher and more appropriate level than just saying, vote for me because I'm the loudest or I'm the richest or I'll make you great again or whatever your slogan is. And everyone needs to, you know, they're entitled to who they vote for, and I'm not having a commentary about that except to say that the subject matter of voting needs to be substantive and in the interest of humanity, because what politicians do today affect our children and their children, and in this case, the health of the planet as well. So the point about mentioning all that is that the law reform system, in my view, is probably 25 years, or the justice system, sorry, is about 25 years behind where it should be. Now, I'm hopeful that there is some level of commitment to meaningful change.
Yeah, well, that's one of the things that we hope, looking forward, that you know, although the effect financially on Wisconsin and its citizens, I must admit, it's looking pretty dire, I would say. I mean, you know, Mark, you're a bit of a financial wizard. You'll know more than most. You know that there will be you know, a lot of people in Wisconsin who will be most unhappy at Stephen Avery being released and then claiming a big chunk of money. He's going to be one of the richest men in Wisconsin, isn't he?
Well, you know, if you define rich by dollars, perhaps,
Yeah,
yes.
and for a lot of people, that's what it boils down to, isn't it?
Well, yes. I mean, you know, here's the thing. If someone said to you today, "I'll give you $10 million as choice one, but in order to get it, you've got to spend 32 years in prison," what would be your choice? And so,
Yeah.
to his most valuable asset, in fact, indeed, all our most valuable asset is our time,
Yeah.
and that's the very thing that's been stolen from Stephen and Brendan. And the people of Wisconsin, if they're annoyed about a claim, should be annoyed at their politicians and decision makers, not at Stephen Avery.
No, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And one hopes that the repercussions against those that have been involved in this will be substantial. You know, we fear that some people will get off very, very lightly because of this. You know, I mean, I certainly agree with people who say that, you know, we should look a lot higher than just Ken Kratz. You know, Ken Kratz had puppets in Wiegert and Fassbender, and you know, the Manitou Shows Department, Calumet Shows Department, but he's not the puppet master in all of this.
It's a whole cultural thing, Paul.
Yeah.
To do with, you know, we make the rules. It's our game. It goes all the way through the top. It's sad. It's sad that we've seen this happen. I feel sorry for the people of Wisconsin who have this most beautiful place to live in, and who the people are generally are very, very nice, and they've allowed, either through silence, one would think, for their state, to be placed in this environment that is contemptible to the rule of law, and whether people are brought to justice over this action is a bit problematic. We'll see that in good time, but the layers of culpability are huge here, huge, and my guess is that at some point when the cracks finally become very publicly open, there'll be plenty of lower level people ready to talk to protect their personal positions. I think that's what they fear the most in this. That is, the system fears that, you know, everyone's going to go scramble to protect their interests, and there'll be people, you know, called out for things that they'd hope would never come to light.
Yeah. As I say, all I can hope is that there will be some good that comes of it, and that you know, things are set straight. You know, I mean, it doesn't look good from my point of view. I remember when I first got in touch with Sherry Furman, and I'm thinking, what on earth are you on about, guy? You know, he was saying, oh well, it's you know, making a murder hasn't really affected. It was unfortunate that it came out because it painted us in a bad way, but nothing's changed. You know, we're still carrying on as normal. Very blasé about it. I suspect that was just for my benefit, rather than that he genuinely felt that way.
Oh, you think he's going to admit to the reality? So yeah, no, he's obviously going to sugarcoat it to suit the public position in terms of his communication with you. So, in fact, in many ways, I suspect that they're probably a little bit shocked that suddenly they're being called to account on these matters. They probably think it's just normal what they do. And again, and that also goes back to these issues about democracy and voting, and you know, the people need to take control of their state and their country by participating in the processes that lead to good governance, fair governance, and reform. You know, we should all be evolving people and evolving towns and evolving states and countries, and not just relying on legacy issues or resting on our laurels of past achievements. You know, this is about how you move forward, and it's time. That's what I'm saying. It's time. It's well overdue, and there are a lot of people suffering as a result of their lack of commitment to change.
Yeah, I mean, it's you say it's kind of understandable that they would take that sort of opinion, but I mean, the most recent offerings by the state have been so ridiculously poor. You're wondering, you know, are there people that are looking at this going, you better start change your tune because you are just making yourself look complete idiots.
Idiots. Yeah.
Yeah, well, they don't care, right? So they're going to do anything to fight this matter because once the egg's scrambled, there's going to be a lot of people being shown all the way along the line and up the line, shown for their corruption or their disinterest in justice is probably the kind way of putting it. So.
And they are going to do everything they can to keep this covered up.
Yes,
Well,
and interesting, Jane. The more they say to do that, Jane, the more they say they do that, the more they reveal.
Yeah.
And you know, look. This is just a little micro example. Look at that little promo video, if that's what you call it, where Ken Kratz was on.
Kratz.
You know,
I mean, how telling.
Like exactly. You know, it was like, here I am. I'm even worse than you thought I was. Right?
Yeah. I mean, just his demeanor and language, and Rookie, the guy that was asking questions, he was sat very calm, very collected. And Ken Kratz just lost it. And to me, that is a surefire way of guilt, because he just, I mean, what he came out with was just classic.
He's a bully.
He's
a bully.
He's a
Mr.
narcissist.
Kratz.
He's a bully. But I mean, that clip was brilliant.
And when he gets pinned down on thing, he lies.
Yes.
And he's already created a scenario in his head, just like he did with the stories, particularly around Brendan, but also with Stephen. He already creates this scenario, and he believes he's right because how dare you question him, right? And we just saw Kratz 2019 version on display this week.
Yeah.
And this is a man who won an award, you know, for convicting Stephen Avery and Brendan Dassey, and who has you know, had his license revoked, or at least suspended, and whose, you know, his behaviour in respect to women, and particularly in respect to women he's supposed to be representing, is just.
He is.
It's hard to describe.
I can't usually stand to listen to his voice because he just goes through me. But just the way he talks, but his just whole demeanour on that. It was a clip of like 1 minute 47 seconds, and it was just like I was sat like gobsmacked, because he just. It's come out when he said about who cares if Bobby lied, basically.
Yeah.
I mean, that was another revelation. So he's admitting, and it's when he gets backed into a corner.
Yeah.
I mean, to be honest, it's something that I would like to discuss. I've got 2 more sessions to do. I do want to cover. It's probably the thing that's closest to my heart would be media coverage, Kathleen Zellner's use of social media, etc., etc. But I would just point out that when in my very first conversation with Robert Herman, the one thing that he did complain about was Making a Murderer featuring Ken Kratz's sexting. He didn't like that at all.
Well.
He said
didn't like the sexting, or he didn't like that it was reported.
Yes, he didn't like the fact that it was featured on Making a Murderer. He said they didn't need to do that. That had nothing to do with the case. And I'm like, well, I'm afraid so. I'm afraid so, because he's not a very nice person.
I mean, that was going on while the trial was going on.
Yes, correct.
So I mean, how
It goes
that's
goes
not-
to the character of the man. You know,
Yeah.
that's what it goes
Yes.
to. So
I mean, he's
G'day.
trying
You know
to
that-
put down. Hello.
G'day.
oh, hello.
She's just come to
Hi,
interrupt you,
Eunice, how are
Jane.
you?
How are you? Sorry, Jane.
You're okay.
How are you
Nice to see
doing?
you, Eunice. I'm well. I'm over here in Manitowoc,
Hi.
preparing for your visit in June.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah. So it'll be lovely to see you.
Yeah, it'll be good to see you too.
You look well too, by the way. You look very
Thank
well.
you.
She's not feeling very well.
I had
Yeah.
quite a big night last night.
It was the declaration night.
Oh.
Eunice calls it the declaration night.
No, you call it that, do you?
I call it the declaration night. But anyway, it's when they announce who the brawl lads are going to be.
Our festival for the year. It's the kids
Oh, right.
that are involved in that. So
It's just another excuse for a big booze up.
yeah,
Yeah.
there is some history behind it.
That's right. It does help.
Sorry, I'll just briefly explain that not long after I came back from Australia, Eunice went off to Benidorm with 11 others to enjoy a girly week. And on the Wednesday, she phoned me and said, "Oh, I'm not drinking vodka anymore," because she'd been out till 3 o'clock in the morning the night before. And I said, "Well, darling, you drink Southern Comfort. If you can't find Southern Comfort, just pour whiskey. Put a whiskey with your Coke. It'll be very similar to the Southern Comfort." She said to me, "Oh no, you remember that time you picked me up from the Lauder Common riding, and I was absolutely wrecked and in the gutter?" I said, "What that one time? You mean every time I picked you up from Lauder?"
That's not true. Honest.
It's true.
Mhm.
It's true. You believe me, don't you? You believe me, don't you?
No.
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 No, you.
You wait. No way.
Isn't Eric Cozy a right haverer?
All right, Heber.
He is a right haver. Now that you've got to know him, he just havers and havers, doesn't he?
He
Yes. Yeah, and he's a nut.
A blow bag.
A blower bag, yes. I like that. Right, you go.
Maui.
Yeah, see you later.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
See you soon.
Bye. Take care. Bye.
Sorry, Jane, you were saying before we were interrupted.
Oh, so just that interview, it just shows his character, and for Sheriff Herman to say, "Oh well, that had nothing to do with it." Well, he's putting down the characters of Stephen Avery and Brendan Dassey, and he is supposed to be a respected DA, or was, obviously, at the time. So
Yes.
very hypocritical. But
Oh no! Everything he says is hypocritical.
yeah, every
Um,
time he opens his mouth, though, it's like KZ said in Making a Murderer. Just let him sit and talk, because he'll
Yes.
he just digs himself a deeper hole.
Yeah, I mean, and he's so. I was going to say he's oblivious to what he's saying. I don't think he is. He just believes what he says.
Yes,
That's scary. It's scary
Yes.
that he believed his own rubbish.
yeah,
Um,
very scary.
I was just going to ask Jane, when did you first come across Making a Murderer?
So I came across Making a Murderer a few months after it came out onto Netflix. And
Right.
then so I watched it all in one go. And then you get to the end and it's like, I was just gobsmacked. It was just like, wow, what has this really happened? So I read a few books on the case. I read the trial transcripts, and then obviously waited with anticipation for MaM-2. And then it wasn't till MaM-2 came out that I kind of found all these groups and had people to talk to.
So you said you've read a couple of the books. Which books have you read?
So I've read Wrecking Crew. I've read Sean Atwood's book.
Yep.
I read the first book I read was the Michael Griesbach book, but the indefensible.
Oh, right, I'm going to say it.
No, innocent killer. Yes,
I was given this one by my daughter. She told me about Making a Murderer in February of 2016, and then she got that for me. But of course, she just assumed it was a book about making a murder. And I would say that the first 2/3 is excellent, is really, really good, interesting stuff. A lot of it's covered by Sean Atwood in his book.
Yeah.
I find it very, very strange. To me, that there's more to this Mike Griesbach than meets the eye.
Yeah.
I think he is up to this case to his neck.
I was given that book by a colleague at work, and I read that first, and I thought he was all for Stephen Avery.
Yes, at first, because yes. The way that he the way that he attacks Vogel, or the way that he shows everybody just how bad Vogel was.
Yeah.
To me, that is just perfect deflection for him. He is just deflecting any attention. He's saying, "Look at me, I'm the good guy in all of this."
Yeah.
I am absolutely sure. I mean, that conflict of interest, it's in The Illusion of Justice, I think, is the best paragraph by Jerry, when he says that when they barred Deborah Katchitz, they finally managed to find somebody from from Manitowoc to bar from the Avery Chavez shots, because everybody else that had a conflict of interest, they were quite happy to let in.
Oh yeah.
Finally, they found somebody they could bar.
I mean, it's ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. And I mean, good for her speaking out on the documentary.
Yeah.
That was quite illuminating.
It was, and it's a shame. I felt sorry for her in the end, that she gave up. She had to give up the job, and that would have been pure pressure. And she even admitted she was scared.
Yes.
Because she didn't know when she was going to sort of get the next threat. They didn't like it because she wouldn't play ball with them.
Yeah.
Yeah, gonna.
Yeah. But
So,
it was a shame.
So you've basically read the same books as me. You probably, but not The Illusion of Justice.
Yes, Illusion of Justice. I've read that. Yeah.
You've read that one.
Yeah.
I mean, I think there are another couple of books out there. As you say, Indefensible was his follow-up book.
Yes.
The Ken Kratz book. I mean,
well, I wouldn't even read that.
I got an email. I got a reply to an email that I sent to Mark Wiegert, in which he suggests you may want to check out former attorney Ken Kratz's book. And I thought,
no,
what?
I refused. I wouldn't even read it if someone gave it to me.
No.
I'd rather use it to do whatever with. No, definitely not. There's nothing. Unless he's turning until he's ready to turn around and start telling the truth, which is never going to happen, then he's got nothing really of interest that I want to hear.
No, absolutely. I mean, apart from use as lavatory paper.
Yes, that's what I was going to say. That's all I'd use it for.
I mean, just to touch on this subject a wee bit, it does beg a belief for me the way that they seem to think that this whole case will just blow over if they just make it a matter of public opinion. I mean, because at the moment that seems to be the only defense that they're able to do is to try as much as possible in whatever little way they can to try and discredit Stephen. I'm sure that's the reason why Lynn Heartless was wheeled out and happy to chat to of all newspapers, the British Sun.
Oh,
I thought, gee, I don't know. I mean, Mark, you've actually visited Steve. You know what he's like. You offered them to, you would quite happily explain to them, what Stephen is really like. But of course, that's not sensationalizing the case, is it?
Oh no, and Stephen is Steve, by the way, Stephen is almost like a model prisoner. He never gets into trouble. He always does the right thing. He's always respectful to the authorities. He's just an everyday guy. He's just, you go in there and you think, how come he's in here? It doesn't make sense at all, just in terms of who he is. And I'm no fool. I mean, I deal with people all the time, and, you know, you can judge people fairly quickly once you come to know them, I mean. And, you know, it's the way that those who want him to be guilty portray him is just a straight statement of dishonesty.
But even
given
from
that
the documentary, he just comes across as just an ordinary, likable, you know, guy.
Yeah,
you know, one of the
he's a bit of
one of the things. You know, one of the things to keep in mind about Stephen, and there are many things about his life. One of the privileges I've had is the opportunity to sit with him and talk to him about his life generally. You know, at age 16, when his father, who was running the salvage yard, injured himself quite badly in a motorbike accident. And Stephen left school. Now, Stephen wasn't going to be a Rhodes Scholar, but he left school at age 16 and ran the salvage yard.
Hi there.
You know, can you imagine what that must be like?
Yeah.
You know, at a 16-year-old boy stepping up to the plate. So it's a fabulous thing that says a lot about the sort of man that he is.
And you can tell how much he loves his family.
Very much. So
what happened? I just did something. Hold on.
Yeah. Oh, you've got your MaM-a-thon shirt.
Hi, everybody. Here comes the headmistress.
Yeah, I'm here. I gotta find which Google Hangouts window I have now. I have like 3 open. Where am I? Hold on.
It's so good to see you back, Tracy.
Well, Ali came in happy fight, and oh dear, I am completely lost I was completely lost for a good few minutes as to where I was. So I've no idea how I do this the next time round. I think Ali will have to come on again and
I was watching. I was watching. It wasn't dull. I was watching.
Oh God. Oh, we've missed you.
Well, thank you. You're not going to miss me today. You're going to see me a lot today.
Good. You look amazing.
Oh, thank you. For not sleeping?
I've been up since it's 2:10 in the afternoon now, and I set my alarm at 10 to 3 this morning. Ready for Eric Cozy, and I've been up. So this is good for me.
I've officially passed the 24-hour mark. I've been up for over 24 hours.
Wow.
Did Eric Cozy actually start on time?
No.
No.
What a stupid question, Paul. Come back when you've got a proper question to ask, you dumb it. I know. Now, didn't I just say that? I said in all the years that he's been doing, obviously that he's been doing chats. So he's not been doing chats for years, but in all the time he's ever done a chat, he never, ever, ever starts on time. It's a question of, is he half an hour late, an hour late, an hour and a half late, 2 hours late? You know, take your pick. Can you remember?
He wasn't too late today. No. He was actually one of his better latenesses. Yes.
You see, the thing is, there's Pacific time, and there's Crunch Island time where he lives. He lives on Crunch Island on his SS Guppy, and he does. He just has no concept of time, does he, Mark? Remember, you know, it's like
he's got his own personal time zone. That's what you're trying to tell us, right?
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, it was okay to go to the zoo for half an hour to look for non-existent koalas. Oh dear, and oh dear.
I love Australia Zoo in Queensland.
Well, the best of it was we went to Melbourne Zoo when there was really no need to, because we could have gone to one that was local to Mark. But what happened on the Thursday morning was that he wanted to go live, and I said to him, you know, because Mark said, do you want to go live before we go and have before we go to this park, or do you want to go afterwards? And I said, well, I think a better idea. You're keen to go live. I think you should go live straight away, and then we'll go to this. Well, of course, we never got time to do the safari thing, did we? You know, which was a shame.
Oh well.
Are you Sydney, Mark?
Near Sydney, yeah, about an hour north.
Yeah. I've never been to Sydney because, as I say, my family are from Brisbane, Queensland.
It's a nice place.
It is. Yeah.
So I'm gonna do my little spiel about what's coming up and my channel.
Yeah.
And then I'm gonna pop back over so I can get set up, and then you take however long you need to wrap up.
Yeah.
I am going, since everybody's been asking for the last month, I'm finally gonna do my breakdown of the response. And
yay!
I kind of like got a little skimpy on the reply because it's pretty self-explanatory. And honestly, I was just sick of writing notes at that point. So I've been up all night. So I'm gonna cover the response and the reply. And then at 11 o'clock, which is 3 hours from now, or less than 3 hours from now, Michael Cicchini, the Wisconsin defense attorney who's written 2 books, Convicting Avery and Anatomy of a False Confession, is going to be calling me and joining me. And we're not calling it an interview. It's going to be a conversation, hopefully. And we're going to talk mainly about the first book because I don't have the second book. But we're going to talk about the first book, and it's a great book. If you haven't read it, read it. It's not the most encouraging thing in the world because it talks about how terrible the legal system is in Wisconsin, but it'll help you understand it, even if you are like, it makes you even more angry. You know, like it's more maddening, but you kind of get it finally. Like you understand what he's saying and why it happens, and it's just that it doesn't it's like, how do you fix it? And that's what hopefully we're going to talk about a little bit about that today too, because he's very involved in reform and he's working on some things right now. So we're going to talk a little bit about that at the end as well. So hopefully everybody will enjoy it.
Yeah.
Hope so. So thanks for having me on for a few minutes. What? Go ahead.
No, I'm going to say I'm sure everybody will enjoy that because that's one thing that you know we do struggle on when it comes to, you know, the legal aspects of things, and there's things that at times it seems like, well, surely that should be the case and that should be the case, when in fact it seems to me as if the state can hide behind so many technicalities and loopholes and throw up smoke screens.
We'll talk about that very thing because I use the term understand, you know, very loosely. You know, it's trying to understand something that frankly isn't even understandable because it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
But it still goes a long way to answering a lot of those questions that people have had, like, why is it this? Why can they have a press conference that's completely against that, you know, ethical rules for a prosecutor, and yet nothing happens?
Nothing. Yeah.
And he'll explain why, even though, like I said, it's not something you want to hear, but he'll explain this is why. Yes. You know, why can Len Kaczynski get away with what he did? Well, this is why.
Yeah.
You know, so it's very informative as far as explaining these things, but it's not a happy book.
No.
But if you really are interested in how the law works and why it is the way it is, and why the first chapter I thought was funny. It's called "Welcome to the Hellmouth," talking about Wisconsin law. Yeah, it's like, yep, because that's it exactly. So, so I'm looking forward to that little chat. We'll see how that goes. And he said he'll stay with me as long as people are interested. So.
Oh,
sure,
well, absolutely, yes. So what time is it over there in Wisconsin at the moment?
It's 8:15 right now. So he'll be on with me in 2 hours and 45 minutes, assuming he's on time.
So it's about 8:15, did you say?
8:15 right now. Yeah, and he'll be on at 11.
Yes. 8. So it's still quite early in the morning over there.
I wouldn't know because I've been up all night.
It is.
Yeah. Wow.
Below this shirt, I've got my pajamas on. So.
Okay, so I'm going to go over and get started. I did put in the chat I was going to pop over here, so hopefully people saw that and they're not wondering that I'm pulling an air cozy and I'm just late for no reason. So I will talk to you soon. Mark,
Nice
you have a good day and have a safe trip.
Thank you. All the best, Tracy.
Yeah, cheers,
Okay,
Tracy.
thanks.
Yes.
Bye.
Okay then. Well, so I basically we'll sort of begin to wrap it up there. Sorry, Jane, what were you going to say?
No, I was just going to ask Mark what time's he heading out to see Stephen.
Yeah.
Thank you for that segue because I have to go very shortly. I'm going up to the salvage yard to collect Dolores.
Oh.
Yep.
Precious cargo.
Yeah.
And and I have to, as I say, I only look respectable top half at the moment. So
Yes.
I've got to get ready. So I'm going to head off in a moment or two. If you have any questions, Paul or Jane, I'm happy to answer them. And obviously, I'll come back on in other sessions over the weekend.
I was just going to quickly ask, what does Stephen think about MaM-a-thon? Does he know all about it? I know he's done the
Oh,
little
he
voice
does.
recording.
Yes,
Where did that
he's
come
very
from?
excited. How did
The voice
we get that?
recording.
Yes. How did we get that?
Yeah.
Okay, so Stephen, that was recorded in a conversation between Stephen and Sandra Greenman.
Oh, right, yeah.
She just recorded it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's always a bit tricky because they're
Yeah.
using a phone from the prison, and they're not the best quality things. And
No.
Sandra will be the first to tell you she's not the world's best technology driver.
So it was just a case of loudspeaker.
So loudspeaker onto a little
Yeah.
recording device itself back to another recording device, and then trying to tidy it up so it actually makes sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, to answer your question more directly, he's very excited about it. He'll be asking me for sure lots about it today.
Yeah.
He's very aware of his case. He's very aware of his supporters. He obviously doesn't know everyone by name. He obviously would like to be able to be more actively participating.
Of course, yeah.
But he's very switched on to what everyone's doing, and I try to, as best I can, sort of add to his knowledge about the supporter environment. And
it must be quite difficult for him, though, surely, because there's not a lot that he can do where he is.
No.
He is relying totally on people in the outside world doing things for him, isn't he?
He does. Unfortunately, and they are only a minority. There are a few people who are in the outside world who do things that are not in Stephen's interests.
Yep.
And when you're in this closed environment and you don't have any way of filtering truth from reality, and dealing with issues that are on your mind, you're kind of contained all the time, not just physically but mentally contained.
Yep.
If we hear something we don't like or we think's wrong, we can go off and do a bit of research. And Stephen's very restricted in what he can do, and he relies heavily on other people to tell him. And some of those other people, not everyone, but some of them just like to create drama for him.
Yeah.
And
Shame.
that's not kind, let alone helpful. So
it's not.
No.
Well, give him our best.
I will indeed. So I might use that as an opportunity to sign off, if that's all right with you, Mr. Capaldi.
That's absolutely fine. I'll just finish off here with...
And I would encourage either yourself and others, the little 10-minute video I've done on, it's called a trip to Warpond. It'll be out there somewhere today.
I shall have a watch of that.
Yeah, it's kind of a fun way to look at, a day in the life of visiting Stephen Avery.
Yeah.
So.
Yep, I would just like to finish off by thanking Mark, Jane, for joining us, and see you again soon. Head over to Tracy; she's just started, so I'm sure it's going to be fascinating finding out a little bit more about the legal system over there. And yes, wow, the total so far is not far short of $700.
Wow,
raised.
that's amazing.
It is. But it's if I had to say what's the number one thing to come out of all of this, it's like anybody will tell it, it's the making of new friends, isn't it?
Yes. And you know what I find amazing of how many people all over in different countries all over the world have been brought together.
Yep.
It's a wonderful thing.
It is.
Yep.
Okay, I'm going to say cheerio. Should we finish off with a bit of Werewolves of London? Mark, could you join in on the chorus for me?
All right.
Here we go.
I apologize in advance.
Here we go. Then. Here we go. Here's our... when it comes to course, you've got to turn around like this and go.
I can't top that. Seriously.
Oh, Emma Cozy can. Once he's had a plate full of sausages, he can top that. Right, we'll catch you again soon.
All the best, everyone. Take care.
Cheers, everybody. Cheers, Jane. Bye,
Bye.
Mark. See you.
Bye. Thank you for
Bye-bye.
having me. Thank you.
Pleasure. Bye for now.
Bye-bye.